Welcome to Munich. It's PLZ Soccer live at the Euros here in Germany. I'm Peter Martin. Hugh McDonald and Tam McManus are here with me. The sun is shining and maybe there's just a shaft of light of optimism that's going to come through in this show as we get ready for Scotland to take on the Swiss on Wednesday night. We're going to hear from manager Steve Clarke. We're going to discuss the fallout from the Germany debacle, and over and above that we are also going to be talking about forthcoming games and a couple of bits of sad news that we're going to bring you and discuss here on the programme as well. Thank you to so many of you who have been complimenting us on our content on PLZ Soccer right across our social media as well. We really appreciate all the positive ones. There's been a few nutcases who've been really negative and abusive, but that's the nature of the game.
That's enough about Tam's dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll be tuning in.
Yeah, he'll be tuning in for that line anyway. Listen, lads, it's been enjoyable. What is this, day 3? Is this day
Seems
4?
like day 34 in the Big Brother house.
Big Brother house, so we'll get Jordy to tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing about it is the tension. You can sense it in the air as we actually get used to living with each other, which again, I hope we don't do on a regular basis. Okay, Scotland, the fallout from Friday continues. We speak to a number of Scotland fans, prior to the match. We've spoken to them and we've been speaking to them today. And the general feeling is, what do you think the general feeling is here?
I've been quite surprised with the general feeling. Has been a kind of like an acceptance. Just saying, right, that's that one out the road. It wasn't good, but it's now in our own hands. We didn't expect to beat Germany. Okay, the manner in which we got beat was poor. But right, let's kick on now. We've got 2 games where we can hope to take something from. And yeah, just a feeling of acceptance, I felt. I've not detected any great anger, have you?
I think disappointment is probably the best way to sum it up, Tam, from the Tartan Army, who are basically looking and saying to themselves, well, we wanted more of a fight.
Yeah, listen, I think we all did. I think we all expected Scotland to put up a better performance on the night, and we didn't do that. Listen, it's done. It's chip paper, as they used to say. We go into Wednesday, Peter, and we try and get a result. We need to get something out of the game. I think that's clear. 3 points is not going to be enough. If we go and beat Switzerland, we're right back in the group. We've seen them the other day, that they look a decent outfit. They've got pace and they've got movement in the forward areas, but defensively, when Hungary put them under pressure second half, they didn't look too clever. So, listen, Steve Clarke, the staff, the players will all have watched that game, and they'll know the strengths and weaknesses of Switzerland. And let's hope we go in. I think we will put in. I think it's impossible to put in a worse performance. I hope I'm not tempting fate, but I think we'll be hurting and we'll go in and put a right performance in.
Well, today Steve Clarke came out. I don't think he was scheduled to come out and speak to the assembled members of the press at Garmisch in their base. But this is what he had to say about discussing that defeat with the senior players.
I've spoken to 1 or 2 players around the squad whose opinion I value. I had a good chat with a few of them. I had a little chat with a lot of them on the training pitch this morning, just to try and put 1 or 2 things in their head that maybe they didn't do when they went to the pitch that they should have done.
Yeah, that's what the Scotland manager had to say. Some players need a kick up the backside, some players need a cuddle.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about it is that the level. That's always the cliche in football, isn't it? Some people can take the
carrot and stick.
Guys.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that the players came to him with concerns, about interpretation of game plans. I think there was hints of that in Andy Robertson's post-match. So I think the players wanted some clarity, and I think Steve would want some clarity of why things that he was trying to put over didn't come into effect. So it's a clear air situation.
Well, I'm aghast at that, because you and I, obviously, in many a press conference, sometimes you look for a line that's so blatantly obvious. Sometimes it's what the manager doesn't say that gives you the best line and the indication of the fallout from a game, Tam. This is only the way we go into it thinking, because managers want to protect, they want to try and protect the players. But what he did say in that press conference was the players' interpretation of what we asked them to do was wrong. This is an interesting point, because he's saying they had a game plan, but the players clearly didn't follow it. They must have got the wrong end of the stick on this one. That is amazing me.
Yeah, it's basically saying the players never carried out instructions that they'd worked on all week and probably worked on for weeks ahead. Interesting statement from Steve Clarke. I think he would have taken Andy Robertson, Callum McGregor, John McGinn, and maybe Grant Hanley. I think he'd have took 4 or 5. I don't think the whole team goes into a meeting like that. Sure, I think it's your 4 or 5 most experienced players, and they pass it down to the rest. So, interesting comments. Listen, the time for talking has stopped. We need to go and put a performance in. If we're rubbish and we win 1-0, nobody will care. The only thing that matters is a result on Wednesday, Peter. And the performance, listen, we get performances, great, and we'll probably need a performance to win the game. But if it's a rubbish game and we win 1-0, nobody will care. But we need to be more united. We need to be more connected in terms of front to back, and we need to be better defensively.
Well, interestingly enough, if he was taking the senior players in to have a chat with them, it was the senior players I thought that let him down.
Yeah, but to be fair though, Peter, I said it the other day, there was no redeeming factor of that performance.
Yeah.
There was nobody you could say to him, but X, Y or Z had a decent game. I think there was, Sam says 2 out of 10 for it, and you looked at me and I went lower, like, the price is right.
Yeah.
I just thought there was no redeeming performance. Every player was poor.
But isn't it amazing now that we have actually gone through the transition ourselves, where we are not even looking and saying there's a captain there that should suddenly turn round and grab the players by the scruff of the neck and say, by the way, we're not playing well, come on. We don't see that. We don't look and think there's a typical Scotland captain. Is that because maybe we're of a generation where you placed a greater responsibility on that role, or is it just a case that we have a group of players now who are all on the same level and they come up against a better team and get spanked?
I think a mixture of all what you said there. I think culturally now, amongst Tam will know this better because Tam actually makes a living coaching young players, so he'll know better that I don't think the culture of real shouting during the match, egging players on, is what happens nowadays. I think there's a lot of silence on parts now. I think as well, culturally, amongst players, there's a lot of reliance on outside information. They don't, you'll hear the old guys like Souness and all that, we'll sort it out on the park. I don't think that happens now. People are expected to get instructions and follow them, not maybe off their own initiative. And I think another thing as well was, the other night there, Friday night, everything went wrong so quickly that it seemed to me there was no way back. It wasn't as if after 20 minutes there's nothing each, you're getting a pummeling, but somebody from the touchline can say, right, we're not doing this right, we're not doing that right. The whole match just ran away from Scotland. It's funny because Andy Robertson would be known, I think, by most people in the game as a throwback captain, as a captain who is loud in training, as a captain who is loud on the park. But whatever the matter, what happened in Friday night or what didn't happen in Friday night, it's got to be cleared up. And everybody's got to be on the same page for Switzerland because, I think Scotland need to win against Switzerland. I think that's a certainty to finish second in the group. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, manager Steve Clarke, speaking at that press conference, I think he's looking for certainly a change in the way they go about their business. He did mention he thought they gave them too much information. I'm before the game saying he doesn't overcomplicate it. Maybe there was just that eagerness to be so well prepared that he started to muddle everybody's head.
Yeah, there can be a tendency maybe to do that the bigger the game. I think you think, right, I need to get information into the players, and it's been a long build up, Peter. It's not just a week. It's been since we basically won the first 5 games. Since we won the first 5 games, we're basically through, and then we get there, and maybe it's just been a case of overload, too much information. People are concentrating on different things instead of just playing the game naturally, like we have done over the last year with Stevie Clarke. So, no, listen, as I said earlier, I think Wednesday it'll be interesting to see the team, Peter. I don't think I've seen a few talking about the goalkeeper. He's had a bad night. I don't think he'll get dropped. No. I wouldn't drop him either. I think you kill him if you drop him after one game.
Yeah.
But obviously somebody's got to come in for Porteous. That's a big one as well. Does he bring Grant Hanley in? Does he bring McKenna in? Possibly Cooper. We don't know who he's going to bring in. Middle of the park, I think Gilmour will play.
Yeah.
So then he's got to drop a Christie or a McTominay.
You love Gilmour, don't you?
So he's... And then I think he'll stick with Shea Adams because I think he's our #1 striker. So he's got a few big calls, Peter, to make.
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, thanks to so many of you post messages, Johnny M, who's live on our YouTube channel, says even before the sending off, Scotland's team disintegrated after that second goal. Yeah, I mean, I'd listen. Even if Porteous had stayed on the park, I still think we're going to get thumped. Also, Niall says, I think we'll make a few changes on Wednesday. Maybe see Forrest coming in. Well, that's Niall's thoughts on it. If anything, I don't think there's going to be too many surprises, do you?
He's not a manager that usually surprises. We talked about this earlier on. He didn't shock me on Friday, but he did surprise me slightly on Friday. I expected Hanley to play, but I'm not going to make too much a deal of that. But I also expected Gilmour to play, because I thought if we're going to try, I mean, anybody would have told, and Steve Clarke would have known this, that the Nagelsmann presses high. That's his whole career has been an aggressive coach, a coach that grabs games and says to his team, go up and get the ball back early. So Scotland knew that they were, if they're going to play out from the back, and without a Lyndon Dykes to hold the ball up, they had to play out from the back. You need good people on the ball, and that's where I was surprised that because Gilmour's the kind of guy that can take a ball in any situation. He will play on Wednesday, I'm sure he will. Obviously Porteous will not play, so there'll be a replacement for him, which I think will be Hanley, but I wouldn't complain if whoever it was really. That's an interesting comment from Niall, talking about the right side of the park. I wonder if Tony Ralston will be a kind of scapegoat, because that didn't work at all.
No.
So did he play Forrest in that role?
But that'd be what an aggressive thing to do, Tam. A game, where everyone's on the line to play a right winger. In our terms, my old Scotland grandad terms, a right winger, a right wing back. Yeah, although he's done it before.
But he does play a 3-5, 1-1 effectively at times. And those fullbacks push on, and I mean, he's 32, James Forrest. Not as if he hasn't. It's not as if his legs have gone. To be perfectly honest with you, and lots of people are offering their thoughts on this. Sooner you realise Scotland are rotten, the better. The whole defence is bad, midfield no creativity, and strikers that can't score, says M1872. Well, listen, on the basis of the game against Germany, who are we to argue? Michael Taylor says, evening lads, come on Scotland. Shankland in for Adams up top. I would also put McCrory in for Ralston, as he had a stinker at right back. Again, that's the key. Lots of people have been dissecting it. It's that, what do they call it? Is that Monday morning quarterback,
used to call it. Yeah. I mean, that's great, because that's what we're here for. I mean, that's what we watch football and sport for, is to reflect back and preview. I don't think he throws everything out. I think two definite changes. He's got to bring in a centre back, and I think he's got to bring in Gilmour. The right wing back situation is interesting. I don't think he throws McCrory in there in such a big game. Does he go for James Forrest? Because, as I say, I think it's a game where a draw even really suits Switzerland, because Switzerland
puts the pressure on us in the last game, big time to win.
Switzerland are got 4 points, and they're going to finish second in the group, because if we get 4 points out of the group with a point with Switzerland, their goal difference you would think was going to be better, so it really supports her. So I think we should be aggressive on Wednesday night. I think we're better when we're aggressive, and I don't see Shankland starting.
No, it's a strange one, because everybody will look and say, wait a minute, this guy's scored 31, 32 goals. He should be starting. You can only analyse players playing at a certain level and the type of striker he is and what he offers. And again, no harm to the boy, he's a penalty box striker. He's not one of those guys who's going to run channels. He's not going to close down, defenders coming out with the ball. And that's not a criticism. It's an observation of what style of player he is.
Yeah, he needs bodies beside him. He needs legs round about him. I think that's been key for him having a good season at Hearts. He's had plenty of legs round about him. Hearts are aggressive. They press high. They get balls in the box. It suits him. He is a penalty box striker, but how many times were we in Germany's penalty box? I mean, they're as well sitting beside you up in the stand. Let's be honest, he's not that type of player. He's a type of player for me, Lawrence Shankland, when you're one each, or you're getting beat 1-0, 20 minutes to go, you're looking for a goal. First guy you look at, Lawrence, get yourself warmed up, you're on.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy, if honestly, the whole squad, if anything, you want to drop to one player, it's Lawrence Shankland, but I just think the donkey work that we're going to have to do for 60, 70 minutes, you know, then it's a time for him to bring him on when he's fresher and he can maybe nick a goal. Defences are tired, so no, I don't see him starting. I think Shea Adams is a certainty to start the game at least. Yeah,
of course, it always helps if you're a striker if you've got a midfield that actually gives you service and support as well. Thanks to so many of you for joining us right across all our social media channels to offer your opinion. The engagement has been absolutely superb, especially on Twitter as well. You've been responding to Tam's take on the Euros, and of course Hugh as well, giving us a tremendous insight with his one-to-one with you. And of course this morning, well, I kind of put out a rallying call of get behind the manager and the team, because anybody who thought we're going to beat Germany maybe is out of their mind. You might give us a different viewpoint on that. As far as the manager is concerned, Steve Clarke also mentioned today that he wants the players to show that resilience.
They have to be resilient. They have to be resilient, because it's a game, especially in club football, it's a game of emotions. So you can have a terrible result on a Saturday, and then you've got to be bouncing yourself back. You've got to be ready to go again on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night if you're unlucky enough to be playing in the Championship, because the games come thick and fast. So it's a game of, it's a roller coaster of emotions. It's the same here. They understand they've let everybody down. They're disappointed. But they know they have to be ready and up for the next game, because that's the nature of being involved in football.
Yeah, well, I think the players will have to show something different from the way they responded after going goals down against Germany. Resilience, that's going to be one quality that we're looking for. There's quite a few other qualities I'd like to see from them. A number of people have mentioned, I fear the worst on Wednesday, says Paul MC. Basically, he says, remember, we've won one game out of the last 10, and that was against Gibraltar. Justin says we've won 1 in 9, and that was against Gibraltar. He's mentioned the same thing. Hammered by France, Netherlands and Germany. No reason to believe we'll win any match. So from that point of view, there are some people who obviously are quite scathing about our chances of getting something, but I think we do have to, at this point, look for some other qualities. If they are stung by the criticism, then we're waiting to see the response from that criticism.
Yeah, I mean, I know the record is poor. I mean, goals lost as well. But what I would say is, you know, this is a group of players that have also defeated Spain. This is a group of players that you know, that won in Norway. You know, so
did we qualify too early?
You know, this is a group that, and this is a group that has resilience. There's no use, you know, saying, I wonder if these guys got. Is anybody going to say that Andy Robertson's not got resilience? Goodness gracious, he's come from Queen's Park at Hampden to a Champions League winner. Is anybody going to say that the others in the team? I mean, if you look at the level of, say, criticism that Scott McTominay has taken over the season, do you think he's going to be bashful about or apprehensive of what he's receiving at the moment? Of course he's not. So these are guys that I don't think resilience is a problem. I think performance is the problem. That's what they've got to do. They've got to go out there. This is a difficult game on Wednesday, and it's entitled to be a different game. It's a final of the Euros, finals of a competition, so it's got to be difficult. And they're going to play a Switzerland side who's buoyed by their performance and their result, and knowing that already after 90 minutes, Switzerland can see the finishing line in terms of qualification. So it's difficult. So we've got to buck that. We've got to find momentum from somewhere, and we've got to find confidence from somewhere.
Yeah, Callum McGregor mentioned that both countries, Switzerland and Hungary, will smell blood after that defeat to Germany from Scotland. So they may well think that we are on the ropes and one of those countries that they can easily put out of this competition by another win. Switzerland will certainly feel that, as Hugh mentioned there. Interestingly enough, of the points that we're going to talk about, and we've got a few things that we'd like to get your thoughts on as well. Stephen McGonigal on our YouTube channel says, guys, are you keeping Gunn in goals? You are keeping him in goals, Tom. We spoke today in the square in Munich to Rab Douglas, and Rab said, listen, you don't need to tell Angus Gunn, he'll be hurting. He's made a couple of blunders that he maybe should have done better with the efforts on goal from the Germans, he'll know himself that he's got to actually buck up his ideas and make better decisions on positioning and obviously dealing with shots when they come in.
Yeah, and he's been excellent for us, Peter. You know, he's not let us down in any of the bigger games. You know, we're talking about the Spain game away in Norway. He made some great saves. So
you keeping him in?
Oh, I'm keeping him in the goal. I think Gunn deserves another shot.
I must apologise to all and sundry across the whole of Europe, because anybody who just sneaked in there by default and heard that last gag from Tam will realise it was one of the things we hated about the domestic season, when he tries to sneak in there with them too. But he's back to his old best as well, isn't he?
I would keep Gunn as well.
Yeah.
I just don't think. Don't mess with what you don't have to mess with. What a poor performance, absolutely. But by the way, every other player wasn't great as well.
What about Paul Barber, who's just said to us, Tierney at right back? Tierney hates playing right back. Can I just say that to you? I know that for a fact. He just doesn't want to play right back.
It takes away the strongest part of your team. I think that is up that left side with him and Robertson.
Yeah, I don't think he's any good at right back. Is that controversial? I don't think it suits him. I think he's so unorthodox with it that he always wants to actually come inside onto his left, and then he's just walking right into traffic. I think a better option would be to stick somebody like James Forrest on that right side if we're going to go for it. I actually think, I mean, everybody's talking about a point. I actually think the way this is going, we've got to try and get a. I don't know if a point's going to be enough, Hugh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, certainly Switzerland would take a point at the moment, because that would put Switzerland on 4 points.
They're through.
Well, with a better goal difference than Scotland, a substantially better goal difference than Scotland, so that's them through.
And are we going to be best losers in third place? Are we?
I think you go out to win the game on Wednesday. I think you set your stall out to say this is a game, and I think that's good for the players, because if you're having conversations with players, then the players will be, you know, they'll be bruised. And but you say to them, listen, we believe in you. We believe that 3 points is on the line, and we believe you can do it. And this is the setup where we can win the game. I'm sure Steve Clarke's saying that to them at the moment. I think we can win on Wednesday.
Peter,
we're going to.
I think you'll be able to tell in the first 5 or 10 minutes how much that defeat the other night's affected us. I think if we came out timid and Switzerland start better and create a couple of chances, then honestly, I think the start of the game, and I know it was important the other night, but if we come out and we get a reaction, we're going to have a big support there. We're going to outnumber the Swiss. If we can get a couple of corner shots, we start on the front foot, we force Switzerland back, then I think we can go and win the game. But on the other hand, if we come out and we think the confidence is shot for the other night, I think we could get beat again.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the Swiss in one moment. I'm just going to read out a couple of quotes here. James Moore, who's very astute, James is watching the programme and says, what happened to the beers on the table, guys? McManus looks gubbed. James knows. He can see on the camera who's actually been professional in their build up to the shows and all the content, and you can see who's been absolutely battering the beers.
McManus is now on the vodka.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he cares about the broadcast, does he? You know, and people are coming out and chatting to him now. He's done one piece to camera, and he thinks he's honestly. Do you know what we're dealing with? We're dealing with Laurence Olivier on the right hand side now. He thinks he's the top man.
It was one take. It was one take.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one take, which amazed us all, because we'd put a 228 gigabyte recording device in because we thought we were going to be here all day. Michael Taylor says, what about an extra body in the middle of the park? Gilmour possibly comes in and try and stop Freuler, and Xhaka, who looked to dictate in the midfield and control the match. And I'm not sure, he says, does Christie make way? Possibly. Thanks for that message, Michael. And I think a lot of people are Stephen McGonigal says Tam's on the gin. Well, he's been on everything by he's mental. Now, I'm going to read out to you some of the team, right? And this puts it in perspective. I really want Scotland to win. I want them to do well. I gave you my honest opinion on the Germany game. Some people didn't like it, but there's a sense of realism of where we are. This is a Swiss team that defeated Hungary. Sommer plays for Inter Milan. Scher, Newcastle. Akanji, Man City. Rodriguez, Torino. Then you've got Widmer, it's at FC Mainz. Xhaka's at Leverkusen, unbeaten season. 3 Bologna players in Freuler, Ndoye and Abischer. So not to be
seasons.
sniffed at. Vargas plays for Augsburg, and Duan plays for Ludogorets. Young man who actually, to be honest with you, was his second cap, but he still managed to break the lines and score a wonderful goal. So he's quick. So that's a big problem for us right away. That team there has 3 or 4 players, in my mind, that are way above the level that anything we've got.
I don't agree. And I'll tell you what, I think
Xhaka's had a great season.
he's had a great season, but is he better than Andy Robertson? He's not a Champions League winner for a kick-off.
Well, that's a good point. I'll maybe take that in the chin. I think they've got 4 or 5 players that have just looked at.
I look at them and say, yeah, they've got. But we should. I mean, like, we can't like Friday night just cloud everything. We've got to say to ourselves, we've got 4 or 5 players who are playing at the top end, are capable of playing at the top end.
See,
of the
picking up
Premier
on
League.
that point then, for me, Germany's up there.
Right.
Scotland are down here.
Yep.
Where are Switzerland? Are they on a par with us?
I think they're just above us.
Just?
Well, I tell you what, they're a team that going into, if it was the first game of the competition, we'd be going in, and I think we'd be saying we've got a chance here. I think we'd be saying, you know, you look at the team. I mean, Xhaka said he was terrific the other day, Saturday. He was terrific. I'm not taking him in. He's a terrific player, Peter, and what a season he's had at Leverkusen. He's been so instrumental with Wirtz and everything they've done. Shar's been decent at Newcastle. Akanji again's a Champions League winner with Manchester City.
Yeah.
So they've got great players, but I think we've got to say, well, do you know what? We've got McTominay, who's a Manchester United player. We've got John McGinn, who is integral to Aston Villa becoming a Champions League team. We've got Tierney, who is a part of a 25 million or 27 million pound transfer to Arsenal, and it's not worked out. Andy Robertson is a Champions League winner. We've got to look at it and say there is a core there of decent players, and they're surrounded by players who've had good seasons in what everybody calls the greatest league in the world.
You know the difference, though, Hugh, of the 4 or 5 players that and by the way, I absolutely applaud you for singing their praises, because I'm with you on it. I want them to play well, those big players. But where our big weaknesses, and this is the problem with me, is we can't score goals, and on the right to the centre of our defence, we don't have a share of Akanji and Rodriguez.
No, we don't.
We have a defence that leaks goals. So that's my problem with that. And I really do hope they step up to the plate. And thanks so much to some people who've mentioned, the various options that we have. You know, Paul says, we need a result. Play Shankland and Adams. Mark Allison says, Shankland must play. Shankland and Adams, God, that'd be brave, wouldn't it?
I think that's maybe for the last game, Peter.
Yeah.
I think that if we draw with Switzerland, it's win or bust the last game, we need to win, so possibly that game.
Well, Drew says no team has ever qualified with 3 points and a negative goal difference.
Yep.
It's 4 points or a taxi home, simple as that.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to. We cannot lose on Wednesday. If we lose on Wednesday, that's it. We're out.
Yeah, okay, there you are. That'll be as flat as a pancake. At that point, Hugh, do we just absolutely just start joining in with him and just try and lift our spirits elsewhere? You know,
It's just you're just phoning Thomas Senior to come over and pick us up in the big motor.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as
and
that.
by the way, tomorrow morning, follow us on our social media, because we're going to be on the train. We're going to be heading to Cologne, and then we're going to be joining up with the rest of the Tartan Army, who will have, by the way, I have to tell you, the Tartan Army are not despondent out here. They are. They are still going for it. I mean, I was speaking to Big Ram Douglas in the centre with his wife, and he looks radiant, but he's been belting the old Steiners non-stop. He's been in tip-top form.
I mean, you don't want to go overboard about the Scotland Council. There's a bit of patronising about it, but isn't it amazing today that 2 days after an absolute gubbing, you go to the Marienstadt in the centre of Munich, where there's putatively 3 other supports, you know, the Romanian support, etc., should all be there, and the loudest is still the Scots.
But by the way, I have to, unless little pockets of mischief have happened and any stories that might come out that we haven't heard, but I have to say to you, and I'm not in this let's take the moral high ground, but the Tartan Army have been magnificent. You know, they've been, you know, to a man that I've seen, and women and the kids with their dads, it's been absolutely brilliant. They've behaved impeccably. Yes, they're bladdered, but you know, roll on.
No, but it's all fun, Peter. It's a great atmosphere. It's a safe atmosphere. We spoke to kids today on the show, and they're over with their dads and they're loving it and they want Scotland to do well. There's no trouble whatsoever when Scotland fans listen. There will be idiots in every support, you know, whether that's international club. But from what we've seen and what we've heard, the Tartan Army have conducted themselves impeccably so far. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, give us your thoughts on it. How do you think the Scots are going to do against Switzerland? And of course then, all this week, it's PLZ Soccer at the Euros. We're bringing you so much content. Kerry, our reporter, is out there trying to get as many stories as she possibly can. AJ and Anne, our backroom team, are working furiously. And up here at the front, I'm trying to get the best out of the legend that is Hugh MacDonald, and of course the up-and-coming, well, he thinks he's actually made it, Tam McManus. That's why I put my new t-shirt on. Yeah, absolutely. I tried to sum it up. Hugh is at peace with himself at 69 years of age, Hugh. 69 years. Wearing his Boca Juniors top, quite relaxed about it all. Because I've got a 14-year-old daughter, I've just given up on buying clothes, but there you are. The Ned that is Tam is there with his Emporio Armani. He's going to bonkers for a night out in Glasgow, and then he's heading up Hope Street to see if he can get a kebab. It's the only way I can sum him up. Now, can we not get a tournament for bevying? We get to the semi-finals at least. James, we'd be parading the trophy right now. It's a great line from you. And Nathaniel says Max Johnson won the double at Sturm Graz, should have been in the squad. There's every Max and Nathaniel. I can't. I don't want to dismiss it out of hand because we all want some of the players that you feel are up and coming. But of the squad that he picked, I don't think too many of us deviated from it. We just want them to step up and play. And Callum McGregor mentioned today that he feels as if they've let the fans down. Well, stop talking. Do your talking on the pitch. Let's see a performance against Switzerland. We've showed you the strength of it. Give us your thoughts on it and how you think we're going to do. Couple of things before we finish the programme, and I hope you're enjoying our content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Come and join the football family, and if you can, and if you get the chance, like, share and follow us on our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram and TikTok as well, because back home Alison, Blair, Patrick and Cheryl are doing a fantastic job giving us the feelings of the Tartan Army at home, east and west of the country. They're trying to travel to as many fan zones as possible. We would get north, but we haven't got that many staff. We're not Sky, BBC and TNT at the moment, Hugh. We're trying.
No, we're better than that.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm glad you said that. Now, a couple of things before we say farewell. And again, I'm not trying to take the moral high ground, but Serbia will play England very shortly. And there's been a bit of trouble with the fans. It is still a problem that just never goes away for England fans.
Yeah, unfortunately, it follows them all over Europe and in the World Cup stage as well. You want a safe environment. There's a lot of England fans who are decent people, decent fans, come over to support their country.
I think
bring
the majority.
The majority, Peter. And we spoke about it earlier. England have always had this reputation for hooliganism, and now you've got Armenians, you've got the Serbians, and they're all wanting to have a pop at England. I'm not saying it's them, but I think everywhere England go seems to be trouble. Whether they're causing it or whether they're defending themselves, we don't know, but it seems to follow them everywhere. Yeah, I've seen a few videos of some choice singing, which really is from a bygone era. I mean, some people need to be re-educated, but other than that, the England players are going to go out there. You talk about pressure from Scotland, Hugh. This is an England team like every England team I've ever witnessed, even their golden generations, and they've had a few that are apparently golden generations. Boy, the pressure on Gareth Southgate as he leads England into his fourth major tournament, it's win or bust.
Absolutely. See the problem with England golden generations? They never won any gold.
Yeah.
They won a lot of bronze. They won the odd silver. They never won any gold. So that's a big thing, and you've got the expectation now. And by the way, I don't think it's outlandish. If I was an England supporter and I was looking at my squad, I'd be saying to myself, we should be in for a shout here. We should be challenging that. Certainly, I think. Kane,
Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Palmer, Anthony Gordon, Kyle Walker. Is that a European Championship winning side there?
I think it could be. I think everybody goes. I always have problems with the goalkeeper. I don't rate the goalkeeper at the very highest level. No, I just don't. I don't think, and I've got problems with the manager as well. I don't think the manager has yet shown that he's capable of, at the highest level, changing a game to win it.
Even if he gets to the final and loses on penalties?
I think that was a terrible result for him, because I think that showed him up in some ways. This might be really hypercritical, but hear me out. England were in control of that match.
Scored early doors, didn't they?
Scored early goals, 1-0 up. And Mancini did things to win the match.
Yeah.
And that level, it's a terribly high bar, Peter, I know that. But that's the bar these guys are operating at, and that's the bar tonight. You said it right amongst. The only thing England can do to satisfy critics of the team is to win this competition.
Yeah.
Everything else is failure for them.
Yeah, well, listen, they're against Serbia. Serbia certainly will not be sitting in and waiting for England to come and batter them. They've got Mitrovic, Tadic, Vlahovic as well. They've got some tasty players. Whether it's good enough to beat the current crop of England, I'm not so sure. I think England will start it off with a win. Tam, what about you?
Yeah, I think they've got too much quality in the final third. It'll be interesting to see actually who he picks. I mean, he's spoilt for choice in the wide areas. Cole Palmer's the fantastic season at Chelsea. I think England can go deep into the tournament, but I don't think the defence is strong enough to win it. I think they'll win the night.
Yeah.
I think they'll win tonight as well.
Yeah, I think they'll win tonight. I don't think they'll win the tournament. France, for me, are the ones that will stop them in their tracks. And also, France, for me, I just can't see past them winning this tournament.
I'm France as well, and Portugal's my sort of dark horse. I think Portugal have got depth in their squad now.
Yeah.
I'll agree with Celtic Da.
Yeah, okay. The other thing I was going to say to you guys, just a couple of things to mention. I think it's only right and proper because we love our football. I don't care where it's played. We love picking up and watching matches. I love English football as well. Just a word on Kevin Campbell. When you're growing up and you see players who played for Arsenal, Cup Winners' Cup, won the title, the FA Cup with the Gunners, and just one of those guys that had that same feeling that Kenny Dalglish used to show when he scored a goal. You see Kevin Campbell scoring a goal and he was smile
Joy.
all over his face. And to see him taken away at 54 years of age, it is an absolute tragedy, just taken too young to you.
Absolutely, and one of the, might be some consolation to his family, but who will be obviously undergoing a trauma at the moment, is that on social media, fans, particularly Everton fans, have been coming out and just telling little stories of meeting him at airports or meeting Kevin in a pub or bumping into in the street, and how Kevin Campbell showing that great sort of joie de vivre, that great sort of empathy with them as fans, that great love of football that he was showing with them. But of course, the family and friends, it's just a devastating time.
Yeah, I think his son, just mentioning that his hero was his dad, and to lose your dad at that age. Kevin Campbell won 4 England caps, and I think Arsenal, Everton and some of the other clubs that he's played for are all showing their respect and paying tribute to him, because sometimes, I always remember Mark McGee saying to us, sometimes when people die you pay them tributes because that's what you do, but they say nice things when they're not really nice. Kevin Campbell's one of those nice guys that you can tell by the way everybody's paying tribute to him.
You can feel it, you can sense it, and as Hugh said on social media, there's a lot of great stories. He seems to be a thoroughly decent guy, and he will be sadly missed. I thought he was a terrific striker as well.
Right.
Firstly at Arsenal, I remember him, I was only a kid growing up, I remember him at Arsenal, and then obviously Everton was his other kind of big club as well. So no, sadly missed, and a tragedy to lose him at 54-year-old.
Yeah, 59 goals in 224 games for Arsenal, 148 goals in 542 appearances. Our thoughts, our condolences, our prayers go out to Kevin Campbell, his families, his friends, everyone who remembers him. One of those players that's a big loss to the football community. And before we go, and we obviously want to be positive about Scotland, can I just mention from everyone here on the football show, and I'm talking about everybody who works for our company at PLZ Soccer, I think our condolences and our prayers and our thoughts go out to Tam Courts, who was kitman. I could probably sum Tam up as the man who managed to do every job at Easter Road. He was the groundsman as well, and Tam, you know him better than most. What a tragedy that he's lost his life. I am so gutted.
Yeah, listen, Tam obviously was a massive character, huge Hibs fan. Started off as the groundsman, as you said, at Hibs, and ended up the kit man with his wife Joyce, and they done all the kit for years. And every time you went to a game, my dad actually texted me every time he went to a away game to watch me. If I'd be struggling for tickets, Tam and Joyce would always sort them out, come outside, Tam, go get your ticket, go get your ticket. He knew them well as well. Tragedy, I think it was, suddenly in holiday. A lot of Hibs fans would be devastated. A lot of Hibs, Big Yogi loved him. He had quite a prominent chin, Tam. Listen, his family were laughing, and so Joyce, if they hear this, and I used to call him Tam the Chin. That was his nickname, Bruce Forsyth, and good game. And every time I went back to Hibs with different clubs, he would say, right, Tam, that wee bit up there behind the goal, I've rolled it and flattened it for you, because that's the bit you'll be warming up in for 90 minutes. So he was great. He could give him abuse and he would give you it back. He was a great character, and he'll be sadly missed by everybody in the Hibs family.
Yeah, I want the wonderful tale about getting it back on Tam on the you'll be a substitute for 90 minutes.
Aye.
Good on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, on countless occasions, I met him there, and he was always great chat, good fun, always respectful of guys like us in the press, and the banter was absolutely magnificent. And again, to his family and to all the Hibs community, Tam Courts is a great loss to the Hibs family. For us, Scotland, it goes on. PLZ Soccer at the Euros. We've been right across Munich. We've actually witnessed the posters up right across Munich. Wherever you are, we are you. The faces are there. We can see it everywhere.
Yep, and it's been terrific to get out into Munich today as well, just to see the aftermath, catch a bit of the
Not one bit of litter, by the way.
I know.
It's such a clean city, isn't it?
Too clean, isn't it? It's absolutely magnificent.
Beautiful, and but the old roadshow moves on, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cologne beckons, Switzerland beckons. It's
Yeah.
about to get serious again.
Yeah, it is. We've got to win this one in my mind. Got to win it. Got to beat Switzerland, or I think we're in big trouble. Just on that point, last word here as we get on that train, super efficient Germany. We're on the train. We're on our way to Cologne. It's a long journey, by the way. We might have to buy a pack of cards, and I'm going to come up with a quiz.
Oh, good, aye. The first question, what is Tam McManus's contribution to the company?
Yeah, there's an A, B and a C answer to that, Stu.
You're under pressure, exactly what a good quiz all night, by
I'll do music, movies, and a wee bit of sport thrown in. And tell you what, not only will I come up with a quiz, I'll throw it out to you as well, and you can see if you can give us the answers. We'll do the quiz. Can we do the quiz on camera?
Why not do it anyway?
Brilliant. Let's have a bit of fun with it. Listen, join us on PLZ Soccer. We're at the Euros for the next 10 days, possibly beyond. I know our reporter Kerry wants to stay on and become, dual citizenship with Germany. Whether that's going to happen or not, only time will tell. But come on, Scotland. Let's get behind Steve Clarke and the boys. I've got a feeling that the Scotland players are going to turn up against Switzerland and deliver a performance that we can all be proud of. From everyone here on PLZ Soccer, live at the Euros, remember, wherever you are, we are. Thank you for watching and listening.